Welcome back to McLaren, where we have got no upgrades until Austria. Welcome back to another stream, everybody. Hello to Pulse Potato and to Elite Silver in the chat. Glad to have you here this afternoon. I was just trying to troubleshoot some potential issues with the stream. It told me that there was an error with the stream, that YouTube wasn't receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. But just as I clicked, well, just before I clicked to change the scene, it went to excellent. So that's all good. So that hopefully means the quality your end that I'm providing is good enough, if that makes sense. So, how are we all? Enjoy the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix yesterday. Rate it out of 10 for me. I'm going to give it a generous 6.5. There wasn't a huge amount of action, especially like for the points paying positions, but I think the action that we did get was pretty good. Magnussen did a good job with his 20 seconds of penalties to back up the guys behind him so that Hulkenberg could get a point for Haas. I mean, Haas, for a team that at the start of the season was saying, oh, we're going to be last, they're not very last, are they? That's being left to Alpine. Pulse Potato's given it a 7 out of 10. Elite Silver's given the race a 6 out of 10. Bit boring as Red Bull's dominated, but Ollie Behrman was good. Ollie Behrman was fantastic, wasn't he? I think the thing that most impresses me, and this isn't to sort of diminish any of his achievements over the weekend, the fact that he finished the race is something to be applauded, because the intensity at which he was having to drive is probably nothing like he's ever experienced before. He could have probably done a really good pace for the first half of the race, and then we'd have understood maybe if it had dropped off in the second half, but to keep it up and finish in the points, no errors, very clean, did everything and a bit more than you could have expected of him. He was absolutely outstanding. Fully deserving of driver of the day. That is I have a bone of contention with driver of the day. I feel like it's just a popularity contest, or whoever's made up the most positions, which sometimes is true. Someone can have a great race, but obviously if you're Max Verstappen starting 16th and you finish second, obviously you've done the most amount of overtaking. So it can be a bit deceptive. There's a fruit fly buzzing around. I'm hoping it doesn't fly in front of the camera. Right, shall we dive into McLaren then, chaps, and see what's what? The race was better than Bahrain, but it should be more competitive at the front. Yeah, I don't know how true it is, but I read somewhere that Red Bull are around a year's worth of development in front of everybody else. So, yeah, remember that wind tunnel penalty that they had? Not hurt them at all, has it? They've actually got further ahead of everybody. So, yeah, it's just been a non-penalty in that respect. So, here we are, back at McLaren, back at base. Australian Grand Prix in 11 days, but we have to respond to an email. First order of business. Do we want a special VIP experience at the next race in Australia? 3 times payout for successful sponsor guarantees. We double our penalty though if we don't meet it. So what I'm going to do is deny on the basis that we're not bringing any improvements to the cars, so I don't want to risk losing any money. Can Red Bull just be banned? That would be helpful. Without being unsporting, it would be very helpful. If they could, I don't know, if they could run with the 2014 Renault power unit, maybe? That might be a great way of slowing them down. Merck and McLaren, Bottas, Hamilton, Norris's strategy. Well, it was one of those situations, because they were the second car and it was going to be a very busy pit lane. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And in that situation, they could have boxed and then come out way down the order, like 14th, 15th, but they'd have probably ended up kind of where they finished anyway. You might as well give yourself that opportunity, go a bit longer, put the softs on. There might have been a safety car, you never know, or a virtual safety car, or even a red flag. Imagine if like 3 or 4 laps after the safety car there'd been a red flag. They'd have looked like heroes, because they'd have gained a free pit stop. So just, it's the way racing plays out. It's the roll of the dice, isn't it? Max is only hated because of the car. Look, I'm not Max Verstappen's biggest fan. I think the way he's conducted himself at times hasn't been amazing. But obviously he's a young man growing up in a very intense spotlight. But also I think he's been allowed to get away with certain things. So I think that's all becoming apparent as well over the last couple of weeks. Who actually holds the power within Red Bull? It is very much, I think, Helmut Marko, Max Verstappen and Jos Verstappen. You know, they're Max giving Helmut more support than he gave to Christian Horner really tells a story there. So that's where the power base is, and basically Max has been allowed to get away with everything. And I think if you see him in a title fight, you won't see him necessarily have learnt from any of his mistakes in the 21 title fight with Hamilton. And he's even said it himself, he doesn't really want a title fight with anybody else. You want to get it done as fuss-free as possible. Are we going to try and repeat qualifying? Let's just try and qualify 14th or better. Max is very aggressive. He's always been aggressive. Sometimes it does go overboard. Piastri gave the position back to Lewis yesterday 3 times, and Max did the same thing in 21 and didn't give the position. So yeah. I mean, well, he tried to give the position, and then we ended up with that whole brake testing thing. And people don't like I think people can marvel at Max's skill. I think he's a fantastic driver. When he does the actual driving bit of things, it's fine. He's a great driver, potentially one of the greatest ever. But when he goes wheel to wheel, sometimes he leaves a little bit to be desired. And the team around him, it's very Schumacher in the 2000s. Everything's built around him. There's no sort of direct competition, and there never will be. There never will be. Ferrari never really put anyone in there that could trouble Schumacher. Everyone will say, oh, Lewis had the better of Bottas, and he did, but Bottas could beat Hamilton in qualifying and in races on the odd occasion. That was more of a Bottas thing, I think. But also remember the 2014 to 2016 years at Mercedes, where Hamilton and Rosberg were toe-to-toe, an eye for an eye. It was dirty at times, wasn't it? It was properly nasty, and you could feel the tension. But it was great. As a viewer, it was absolutely fantastic, and Lewis had to deal with that and learn from it. So I think that shows you sort of the difference. It's all about environment, of course. Right, let's get out of the real world and dive into the virtual world. We're going to be heading down under to Australia with our McLarens. Do I have tips to develop young drivers on F1 Manager? Well, first of all, use the editor, boost their stats. Then it's just time. It's just time. And where you focus on their driver development plan. So if you go into drivers and then you click on performance, I think it is, one of the sub-menus on your driver's main page where you can see their stats. Look at their development, I think that's what it's called, development, and then select the one that covers most of their weaknesses, if that makes sense, and then you'll boost their stats. It is also dependent on how much growth they've got. You're on console, so you won't have access to the editor. Hopefully one day they bring out an editor that works in the game, but then that's a whole nother thing. Right, let's save engine. There we go. I do like that they've put F1 Manager on console, because then it just gets more people involved in it, doesn't it? Because I'm playing on a PC and Oscar is slowest at his home race. Oh dear, that's not good. I'll have to adjust the setups. But then obviously you guys are going to be playing on an Xbox or a PlayStation. Is it on Switch? I've seen Sargent get to about 80-ish overall. Yeah, I mean, he starts really low. That's the thing, I think, as well. You need to have... I mean, the F2 and F3 drivers get a real sort of hard bargain, because they're so low rated. Ollie Behrman is rated 67 at the start. He's clearly better than that. and it was apparent by the time the game came out. I don't like in Football Manager, they issue an update that updates the stats, and you can take that forward, and it also like changes the start of a season, so you get different transfers. You get the picture. Whereas F1 Manager, whether this is something they'll do in the future, there's been no update to stats, no update to driver lineups, nothing like that. I mean, for Christ's sake, Alex Palou is the reserve driver for McLaren, so it's just a bit odd. Right, I'm gonna just focus for a moment on our setup here. A bit more braking stability. There we go. Put some more there. That'll do for Oscar. Traction. This is tricky. I think that'll have to do. Fernando. Right, let's simulate qualifying. Where are we going to end up on the grid? 17th and 18th. Oscar's actually out-qualified Lando. Wow. And we're ahead of Tsunoda and Zhou Guanyu. Ollie Behrman is rated 82 in 2027. I mean, that is pretty good going. So bear in mind, that's 15 rating points he's gone up. They should get it that the AI can sack drivers mid-season, like in my McLaren save. I'm at Spain and Perez only has one podium. Yeah, I mean, we can sack drivers if we wish to. The AI could be a bit more brutal with their driver market. Like, they will keep a driver on if they're under contract, but if they're not, they generally tend to move. I think it needs to be a little bit more volatile. We are going to do a 2-stop race because there's a high chance of a safety car in Australia. So we're going to hope that plays to our advantage. So we might just have to go a bit more gently on mediums there. We'll update the strategy there for Oscar, and we'll do the same for Lando. The one-stopper is theoretically faster, but as soon as there's a safety car, you box. With Lando, we can be a little bit more aggressive on the tyres, I think. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Option B, strategy B, with just like Ferrari here. Right, let's get ready for our first motor race of the day. Do you reckon that we'll get that you can create a team on F1 Manager? I would like to think so. They put that into the F1 game after a long time. It was well overdue. I suppose it's just about sort of having the rights to it, but there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to. Right, here we go. 4, 5 red lights. McLaren are... Where are we? There we are. We're right at the back. We need binoculars to see us. Also, the fact that they're not orange anymore doesn't help. By the way, did anybody else notice the weird thing that was going on with the camera at turn 2 with the McLaren? So they'd come through every other camera angle orange, and then they'd go through turn 2, and just because of the different lights and the way it was picking up, they'd look more red than anything. It was bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Right, we have not gained any positions on the opening lap. Hamilton has got his Mercedes into P3. He is a bit of a Australia specialist. Piastri moves into P16. Nice work, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Indeed. Here we go, round the outside of the penultimate corner. Pinch the inside line for the last one. You got so confused when that happened. Yeah, it was a real trick of the light, wasn't it? Really was. Right, let's neutralise our deployment. Just go aggressive on our tyres. Lando is just outside a second behind Albon. Let's drive in clean air. That'll help us cool our tyres down. And we'll start deploying battery. When am I next doing some open lobbies? Not sure, but as always, stay tuned to the Discord and the community page, and I will provide an update. Norris almost, has he? Yes, he has moved into P17. So good lap here for Lando, and Oscar is with DRS going around the outside of Bottas. McLaren are on the move. We don't want to cook the tyres. We do not want to cook the tyres. Let's stop cooking momentarily then. Great job by Oscar. Moves him into P15. Lando hopefully will follow suit in a moment, and it's Logan Sargent up next. Sorry, it's Ricciardo. I saw Sargent and I assumed it was him. In the Haas saver, you're going to use mods such as Audi and Andretti joining. Audi's already hit. They're here to stay. I'm not going to bother taking that out because I cannot be bothered to do it. You have to just go in and out all the time, and that's more hassle than I'm prepared to do. So, but Andretti, if I can find one, I know there is one that replaces Alpine. So maybe add them in at some point. Potentially other car brands joining. I mean, there are all sorts of mods out there. It's just which ones you choose to use, essentially. And let's pick up the pace with Oscar, because we need to latch onto the back of Daniel Ricciardo. Let's get Lando Norris being a bit more aggressive. What's he up to? Staring at the back of an Audi is what he's doing. Let's push with the engine and drive around the outside. Lovely stuff. Get in there, Lando. That'll do nicely. And his next challenge is to pass his teammate. So it's Sargent holding up Ricciardo, who can't get past the Williams, and we're just stuck in a DRS train. There's a BMW one. I think I've seen it. I'd have to go back through it and have a look at who it replaces, all those things. Albon has just got back past Lando Norris, which is not ideal. They're just toing and froing now. Let's push with the engine so we can get Lando back into DRS range of Oscar. Maybe push with Oscar as well and deploy. See if we can get through. There's Ricciardo. Is he going past Sargent? No, he's not. Great. Let's harvest our batteries. And then we'll stop pushing with the engine and we'll just sit in this train. But Sargent is holding us up royally, ruining our races at the same time. This might be where our two-stop strategy comes into play. Let's get Oscar not fighting his teammate now that he's been passed. So we might end up undercutting Sargent and Ricciardo ahead, because we're not far away from our stop. It probably replaces Haas or Alpine or AlphaTauri. Yeah, that would sound about right. I think Piastri will be coming in first. Norris has just got ahead of Ricciardo, so that's good news. Let's see how that happened. Down the outside, lovely stuff. Ricciardo gives him space. Nicely done. And then at some point, I'm sure we'll pass Sargent. Maybe here. DRS. Oh, I thought he was just going to send it. He's gone round the outside. Beautiful move by Lando Norris. That was superb. I've got Oscar on driving clean air, yes. But also, he's in a DRS train, so he won't lose too much lap time. And also, it will help him overtake. The problem at the moment is his tyres are falling off in terms of performance, so need him to pick up the pace in that respect. Oh, Pulse Potato, you should have just stuck with it. Dropping from champion to the 8th best car. Surely that was a chance to rise from the ashes. That's Lewis Hamilton behind Oscar Piastri. We've got one more lap after this to do with Oscar. Lando has got himself past Logan Sargent, as we saw earlier, and is starting to hopefully pull away. Let's deploy the battery. Pull away. Got to stay winning. Absolutely. Optimal pit stop lap then for Oscar Piastri. Let's bring him in for a set of mediums. Is he going... no, that's what's going on there. That was Ricciardo and Sargent side by side. Piastri
box this lap.
Being told to box this lap. I thought Lewis was about to cream into his rear end. Verstappen denied a contract renewal, which annoyed you, so it was Mercedes or McLaren. Fair enough. What I have noticed is that the drivers on this year's game are incredibly greedy financially. They just, yeah,
okay, keep looking after
they want so much money. Okay, Lando, we need to attack with you. Nice big in lap. Piastri's got 3 P11s in a row. Well, that's good for the count back. Don't knock those P11s. Here comes Oscar into the pit lane. He's following Sargent's in as well. That's not ideal. If we can have a quick stop, we might force the... No. It's a slow stop. Great. Great. Ferrari was already the 7th best car in 2026 with Gasly and Perez. Yeah, they always seem to sign Perez. But it is because they just put the drivers in the best car relative to their ability, if that makes sense. So if you've got the best drivers will end up in the best car. So that's why you always see Verstappen and Leclerc in the Red Bull. Who do you think will replace Hamilton? Well, I replaced him with Oscar Piastri. But in reality, I mean, Ollie Behrman's thrown his hat in the ring. If Ferrari don't get him a seat at Haas, then he's not going to want to sit another season in F2. Put it that way. Don't mind Lando Norris skittling a load of mechanics there for Sauber as they came out. But honestly, maybe it's time to go to Antonelli. Maybe they should go with Antonelli. But if they're going to go that way, then they need to be careful because they don't want to make a decision too early. You've got to keep their options open, but you don't want to leave it too long either. Let's push with Lando, pick up the pace. Sargent is closing the gap because he's on warmer tyres. What's he gone to? He's gone to a set of softs actually. He's going to be rapid. I daren't touch the graphic up here. I'm sure we'll close the gap at some point. We're just defending. Let's go rarely defend. Don't really want to worry about Sargent. We'll just close up to Tsunoda. I think hasn't boxed actually, so he must have been running at the back. Piastri, is he closing on Albon? Not really. Let's push with the engine. Lando has caught Tsunoda, so now we can drive in clean air and easily find a way past. Piastri only at medium confidence. He's not particularly fast at the moment, but it is Albon's on a set of softs. That would explain it. Porsche went from 80 to 86 in one season. Yeah, that boy's got development. Put it that way. You want to get hold of him or Piastri early doors because they've got massive potential. A momentary yellow flag there. Who had a moment? Magnussen with a lockup. Well, that's useful for us actually. We might be able to catch him towards the end of this race now. Oh, we've actually come up just behind Hulkenberg. And now we're in front of him. That's helpful. Who's the next car? It's Bottas up the road. Magnussen's in the pit lane. For a set of mediums, it's a slow stop for the Dane. And we move ahead of him. Where's Piastri? He's got ahead of him too, so that's a step. 102 points for Haas, did Porsche. Alongside Giovinazzi. Wow. Don't think we'll ever see Giovinazzi back in an F1 car. Hulkenberg back in front of Norris. I'm not surprised. The Haas is very good at the start of this game, as we're possibly about to find out ourselves, because we start the Haas career tomorrow. Can Lando find a way through? Yes, he can, past Bottas. Magnussen passes Piastri, who's P17 now. I think... Well, Magnussen's on much fresher tyres. Russell's gone to hards. I think a lot of teams are going medium soft in this race, so we might be on a good option towards the end. We're in the midfield fight with Lando. We're probably not going to score a point unless there's some chaos up front. But if there is, we're in a position to do something about it. Just going to look after Oscar's tyres a little bit more there. Red flag, wow!
What's this lap? Red flag.
That I didn't expect. Well, I told you there was a possibility for something to happen. Here's George Russell, who's going to be dropping it, and Timo Glocking down the road. Wow. And he's very in the way. That's definitely red flag material. The Mercedes crew checking the data. Right. Now what do we do? We've got another set of mediums we could put on with Oscar. Well, I think a lot of teams that haven't stopped might go to softs. Lando hasn't got another set of mediums. Okay, so he's going to have to go to a set of hards because the softs 37 laps, but you have to really look after them. They are half a second a lap faster. Right, actually, we're going racy with Lando. We're going to stick a set of softs on it because there's a chance to get some points. Alpine, 6th and 7th as a result of this. Lance Stroll is 3rd. He could be a massive winner out of this. Perez on hards, Verstappen on softs. What's everybody on? A real mixture. Hulkenberg on used softs. And immediately Lando's got himself ahead of him. Whoa, that Alpine just arriving out of nowhere. Let's deploy, let's push the engine. Be aggressive on the tyres. Piastri's got himself up to 13th. Wow, what a start for him. Lando to P9. He's passed Hamilton. We missed that one. This was round the outside. There's the Alpine just zooming into turn 1 and almost wiping everybody out like it's 2023 in real life. Lando with an excellent start.
See what pace you can do.
Sargent's coming up the inside. Don't really appreciate that. Actually, sorry, no, we are watching Hamilton. That's why. And Sainz ahead on hards could be an option, or an opportunity for us to pass him. Although he's going past Gasly, so Alonso at Merck until Antonelli is ready? Yeah, definitely. Or Albon. You could do worse than Alex Albon, that's for sure. We are the only cars driving in clean air, but that means we have the chance to overtake. Should we be in a position to do so. Decent restart for us then. Let's just go neutral on our ERS deployment before we open it back up again. Now, DRS has us
Pack is low.
in a train that leads all the way to Carlos Sainz in P6. So there's definitely opportunity for points here. Oscar, can we get you some points? We'll try. Where's Lando? There he is. Albon signed a new contract till 2025. Yep. Contracts in F1 aren't worth the paper they're written on. There is always a way to break that contract and get out. Don't you worry. We're going to have to look after these tyres a lot more than we are at the moment. Hello to Space Videography in the chat. Welcome along. Antonelli is your pick, or you pick Williams. Okay, yeah, so is that alongside or in place of Albon as Hamilton goes down the inside of us? But that's fine. We'll just follow him for some free lap time all the way back up to Gasly. Piastri's holding his own in P13. Maybe if we drive in clean air, we can get him past Hulkenberg. What's going on here? It's Sargent again, holding everybody up, and Norris has not been able to go with Hamilton. So we do need to look after these tyres. We don't really want to stop again. If we can get Oscar into P11, then we could do a K-Mag. We could do a K-Mag job and just back everybody up. Although, to be fair, Sargent could just do that for us. Williams doesn't want to be doesn't want to provide a Mercedes Junior seat. Well, if you're going to get a talent like Antonelli, James Vowles isn't stupid. He'll have known about Antonelli as well when he was at Mercedes. So he'll know exactly how good this kid is. If Sargent doesn't cut it this year, then there's absolutely no reason not to go with Antonelli at Williams if he's not in the Mercedes. So never say never. Never ever say never, especially in Formula One. Pulled out a gap on Sargent. Piastri's tyres are probably not doing particularly well. Let's deploy with him and see if we can get past the Haas. In fact, it's now Sargent who needs to pass. The tyres are getting well hot. I think Lando might be okay actually. Hulkenberg is matching him for lap time and is on older softs. So if we can get Piastri ahead of Sargent, we'll have Hulkenberg at the end. I reckon Albon and Bottas at Williams next year. Very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, I like Bottas. I think he has some good qualities, but also he does flatter to deceive. He's one of those drivers who came in with a bit of hype and just hasn't quite delivered on it. Let's top up the battery with Oscar. Also, lads in the chat, I need your help because the channel is eligible for memberships. So I'm planning to go with a 3-tier system, but I want names for the different levels, and we need them to be obviously F1 related and F1 manager sort of specific to reflect the channel. So ideas in the chat please. So might be things like the pit crew or directors board, things like that. Let me know what you think. I'll also put out a community post probably later on asking for people's opinions. We've actually dropped to 14 because Magnussen has arrived and gone past us. We can probably ease up on the tyres for now. Lando, because he's so smooth on his tyres, he might make these last to the end. And he's also got clear air. Our chance of further points is probably gone. What tyres is Magnussen on? He's on mediums. Ooh. That I don't like. K-Mag's coming to get us. Rookie for lowest tier, yeah? That's an idea. Let me write all of these down. Where's my notepad? There we go. You might not be able to see it particularly well, but it is a Mercedes notepad, which I got in, I think it was in a drive crate box a few years ago. Member tiers, rookie 1, world champion for the highest tier. Yep. Don't know about the middle one. Okay, what's happening with Lando? He's still got. He's dropped to P15. This just hasn't quite worked out for us. We could probably go a bit more aggressive on the tyres. There's only 3 laps to go. We've got to attack on them. Absolutely. Hulkenberg's tyres are falling apart. Ocon is now the car ahead of us, but he's a couple of tenths quicker. What did Magnussen do last time around? He was 3 tenths faster. Let's pick up the pace with Lando. We should be fine. Plenty of fuel. Coming down, I think we're kind of matching each other. 22.7, 22.8, that's fine. Piastri picked up his pace there. He's 2.5 seconds back. He's of no use whatsoever to helping Lando keep the position. We should be okay. Is it lap 57? Let's join it for the last lap. Around Spain, he's stopping with stopping with Piastri because of how bad he's on his tyres. He is terrible on his tyres. That's why I boosted his stats so he wasn't quite so munchy through his tyres. We start the final lap actually 2 seconds clear, so I think we're going to be alright. And Piastri has locked up and gone off. Great. Well, we were attacking on the tyres, so I mean, you reap what you sow. Let's deploy and make sure he doesn't get overtaken by Ricciardo. Hi, Lando. Great job. Max Verstappen wins, but we don't care about that. We care about Lando Norris getting us just our 2nd point of the season, which, considering this has had no updates, great job. Well done, Lando. Oscar is coming home for P15. Not the result he was hoping for at his home race, I know. But, I mean, at least he finished it. Oh, Ricciardo, just a 1/4 of a second behind. Lando up 8 places in that race. If that's not driver of the day material, I don't know what is. Why is Ocon good on this game? I know. Well, he's been beaten by Gasly in this. To be fair, Ocon is a race winner, very experienced now in Formula One. He does divide opinion, doesn't he? He can be quite aggressive. Right, we are now 14 points behind Alpine, but we are ahead of Haas, who even though they've got a better car, haven't scored a point. Williams, AlphaTauri and Audi stay behind us. Lando 11th in the standings. Gasly shoots up to P8. We finish 6th. Right. Oh, I meant to actually do a development part ahead of that race and I completely forgot. We'll do it now, I suppose. Lando grows to 88. Hello Sean, how you doing, mate? Good to have you with us. Okay, let's design a new underfloor. Got no CFD time, but that doesn't matter. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to boost everything. We're going to leave these in the middle because this is just going to be a stock part. And then when we get more ATR time, we'll put some bells and whistles on it. So we've only got one engineer available, so we could do it in 43 days, or I could make him rush it and have it designed in May. So there you go. So 7 days, 8 days left on the other parts, 25 days until the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which is also a sprint race. How's Oscar doing? He's developed his overtaking and his defending, which is good. So he remains at overall 82. Alex Palou stays at overall 73. Board confidence checking, medium confidence, that's fine. Tao Porcher wins the F2 race. How is he doing in the championship standings? Drivers, F2, yeah, Porcher's leading the way against Owasa. Where is Ollie Behrman? There he is. Don't know about you, but that doesn't really look like Ollie Behrman, if that makes sense. I think it's just an old photo. Thinking of a Merc season on this game, definitely worth going for it. It's a bit of a slog to start with, but if you can develop the car well enough, you'll do fine. Right, design complete. But we can't manufacture that or that. How well did Ollie Behrman do? Yeah, he was fantastic. Did a great job. Regulation vote incoming. Side pod or chassis focus changes. Let's do it your way. Let's do it this way. So, reg changes. Chassis or side pod. Right, I want your votes. Go. You've got like a minute. Put some votes in on that, please. Am I going to sign new staff? Well, we might do. We could probably do better than Neil Hoodley for a technical chief. Randy Singh's pretty good as a sporting director. Tom Stallard, as much as he's a cool dude, not rated particularly higher. Peter Prodromou, we could definitely do better than him. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, the chap who's just left Alpine is rated higher. Going for Jared Murphy. Or Ian Gregg. Well, Ian Gregg's actually worse, but yeah, there's a few people who are better off. You see those votes coming in. Thank you very much. So I'm going to end the poll there, and it's a win for SidePod. What team am I in this now? And how have you changed the team colours? Because you can't, because you play on PlayStation. Well, I've got a mod that I've downloaded and I'm playing on PC, and it's a retro McLaren livery. It's a late 90s, early 2000s one, when they were sponsored by West. Chassis brings the grid closer. And yes, we are McLaren. So we're going to vote for, as voted by chat, SidePod. And the minor technical change is to compel all teams to have legitimate, obvious side pods. Right, and talking of side pods, we've just designed some. Right, let's. So we haven't. You're the only one who voted chassis. Never a bad idea to be. Never a bad thing to be an outlier. It's fine. So we need to develop. Let's go with another suspension. We're going hard on this. We're reducing drag. Where is it we need to better medium speed. We need to maximise that. There we go. Airflow, medium speed. Lovely. Okay, that'll do for suspension. Rush that as well. We're spending money here at McLaren. You found a PlayStation, can you do anything with that? I'm not sure you can. I'm not sure you can, unless there might be a way around it. Have a Google of it and see if you can find a way around it. Let's do another chassis. I think the mods are just limited to the PC version. There we go. We don't need to worry so much about engine cooling because the Mercedes power unit is the best when it comes to not needing as much cooling. Let's do that. $1 million there. And we've got a third iteration of side pods. Let's go for another front wing. And we will focus on our medium speed here. We'll essentially make a stock part which maxes out. In fact, actually, what we're going to do, this one's going to maximise the cooling of our brakes. Just like that. There we go. So the way I develop the car to start with is simply to maximise certain areas and make almost specialist parts. And then as you go through, as you layer it up, you just bring everything a little bit closer together, and the compound effect of like the gains that you make in different areas then start to fit together as part of a jigsaw puzzle. You can end up down a bit of a cul-de-sac and your car does one thing really well. It can be a bit lopsided, but it's always possible to sort of redress that. Okay, so we've got 3 weeks until Baku, which is a sprint race, and we've got probably about half an hour left of the stream. So what's come through? Side pod focus changes are the order of the bill, order of the day there. More sponsor obligations? No thanks. It's 3:45 as well, which means the Liverpool-Manchester City game has just kicked off. So I'm going to stick that down here on my tablet. You ran out of fuel? No, that's my thing. I'm the idiot who runs out of fuel. You're not supposed to copy me. Piastri was in the points as well. No. Scouts are idle. Well, I'll deal with that off screen. Oh, an early save for Liverpool. Not changed Oscar for Hamilton or Sainz. No, I decided to keep them the same. So we'll give him some time. I did boost his stats. I bumped Oscar's stats up because I wanted to keep him. Let's qualify. What's the lowest it'll offer us? 15. Can we get to 15th? Thank God it was the last lap. Did you get those points? Simulate the session. Got P9 and P10. Nicely done. Charles Leclerc, the Baku specialist, sticks it top of practice. We need to sort the setup out as well. Try that with Oscar. It's probably not going to be particularly good. Cornering needs to go that way. That'll do. Right, let's simulate to practice 2 to going to open the window a little bit more. It's getting a bit warm in here. Oh, wow, Oscar got into Q2. Oh, legend. What a legend. But Lando is on the back row. Oh dear. Oscar's setup confidence is still 38%. Wow, and he's managed to do that. He's absolutely ending up in the wall at some point. Right, let's simulate practice 2. Shout out to Livingston with a 2-all. They're level 2-all with Celtic. Wow. That is impressive. I mean, Celtic and Rangers are basically Perez and Verstappen in the Scottish League, aren't they? So it makes it kind of predictable. But when a team sort of stands up against them, that is impressive. Hulk and Bottas were both a lap down there. That's fortunate. Have I done a season with every team? Not yet. Done 4 with Mercedes. Done a season with Ferrari. I'm going to complete this season obviously with McLaren, and then we're starting a save with Haas tomorrow. Alright, practice 2. Lando has got some pace in the car. Right, we've got 2 races to get through before we finish this stream. Right, let's just put a set of softs on it, lads. That'll do. Attack. And we'll do the sprint race. We'll probably not cover the sprint race too closely because we're not going to get any points for it. But it does obviously give us a start position. Talking of games that are 2-all, West Ham and Burnley is now 2 apiece. Right, we're with Piastri for the start and we've lost a position. Am I doing a save with Williams at any point? Not planning to, although we'll see how things pan out. We'll see how things go. Don't rule it out. Oscar's up to P14. He is loving life right now. Lando up to P18. Let's get them both driving in clean air so they start making lots of overtakes. It does help that they're both deploying. That's Piastri under pressure from Ricciardo. Aussies. It's a bit of a civil war here. Ricciardo around the outside. That's a great move. That is a really nice move from Daniel Ricciardo. And Gasly's also snuck by as well, which I'm not keen on. As soon as we stopped deploying or pushing with the engine, we've just descended through the order. I'm going to get Oscar to really defend against his teammate here. Does Lando feel like going past? Apparently he doesn't. Everybody's on softs, so it's a one strategy thing, especially with the sprint in Baku. Hence the reasoning for doing this. Oscar's got such low confidence. That's why he's struggling. Basically because he lost all those places. Let's deploy with both drivers. Lando's actually caught up to Hulkenberg. Are we passing him? Not yet. Let's see, do we get DRS? We do. We're not close enough to pass. 3 new parts of everything with McLaren just to be competitive. Yeah, I'm thinking we'll need something similar as we take P15 from Nico Hulkenberg. Red Bull, Disneyland, Ferrari, Aston Martin easy, Haas, McLaren, Merc, Alpine, Williams medium, Alfa Romeo and Alfa Tauri are hard. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't describe it as Disney. Love that. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. The Mercedes one is probably sort of on the borderline between medium and easy. Because once you put some developments on the car, it tends to do quite well. Alright, can we close down Ricciardo? Let's attack on the tyres with Lando. It's probably going to end up in the wall. See if we can close down. It's now Magnussen ahead. But no, we're not. We're not actually catching Magnussen because he's got DRS. So Alfa Romeo, easier than you think. One upgrade on everything. You could be in the fight points. Yeah, I mean, the bottom half of the grid's quite close. So if you can develop efficiently and effectively, then you'll do okay. We're not going to be able to snatch P14 from Magnussen. But we will start a combined higher positioning than we started the sprint. But Russell going back 4, Stroll going back 2 places, Tsunoda in P9 for AlphaTauri. That is a surprise. But top 8 get points. Nothing really interesting in that for us. But maybe we can do something with some strategy here. What we're going to... I was thinking of going with Red Bull, Binov, Perez at the start. Maybe put in Teo. Maybe put in 2 young drivers. I mean, it might cost a lot to get rid of Verstappen, but maybe put 2 Formula 2 drivers in there. Strategy for Piastri. Let's go. So let's go medium hard, so we can push on both of those pretty well. And if there's a safety car or something towards the end, then we'll put on the softs. With Lando, could we get away with going soft medium? Oh, do you know what? We could just about get away with going soft medium with Lando Norris. So let's try it. Obviously, he won't have a set of. If there's a safety car. You know what? We're just going to go like that. I want that set of softs in case there's a safety car. And maybe we can box a bit later for the hards. There we go. We'll update that. UKIP would be a bit more realistic. Could always stick Ricciardo in there, see how he does. I think what also was holding Oscar back was his 38% setup confidence. Right, let's do another motor race, the last one of the stream. Got about 15 minutes to get it done, and Liverpool almost taking the lead, which I wouldn't have liked. 2 stop around Baku, soft, medium, soft, full attack. Always 2 stops are faster. Yeah, they are, but when you haven't got particularly a large amount of car pace, you don't have that luxury. We'll see. We could just leave them on attack and go medium, soft, soft. We've only got 1 set of softs remaining though. That's another thing we have to bear in mind. So we've gained nothing from the opening lap. Let's just look after our battery for now and our fuel. Piastri down to P18. But we are going to unleash the battery now with both drivers. Get them both driving in clean air. Oscar's got such low confidence because he's got no confidence in the setup. As soon as he loses a couple of places, his confidence absolutely falls through the floor. And now he's got no battery. Great. Where's Lando? He's a 1.5 seconds behind. Have to go aggressive. Didn't want the tyres to overheat too much either. I think this was always going to be a... Oh, safety car. There you go. Who's crashed? Piastri's up to 17th, so it's Bottas and Joe. So Bottas and Sargent. And Sargent's on fire. There's a bit of smoke coming out of his car. What's happened here? Thoughts on the Spurs Villa game? I know Spurs won 4-0, and as a Chelsea fan, I don't like that. Oh wow, the merest of contacts, and then actual flames. Sargent's on fire. Someone call the fire brigade. Sargent is on fire in the wrong way. The job Andrew's done, yeah, that is superb. Honestly, when I saw him take over, I didn't really know who he was, and I just thought, well, it's a nothing appointment. It's Spurs accepting mediocrity, but I've been so impressed with him. Right, what do we do here strategy-wise? What lap is it? 4. Right, let's put a set of hards on Piastri. It's a free pit stop. Lando, we're going to conserve and extend this stint. Sargent with a time penalty. Definitely wasn't at fault for that. Box for softs. I will later. It's a free pit stop here. Lando is 3rd. I missed that. Lando is now 3rd. Everyone else has stopped for a set of mediums. Okay, well. We're gonna stop later for a set of softs. This will help us. Well, at least with Piastri, we'll stop later for a set of softs. With Lando, we can extend our stint. We might be able to put a set of softs on, maybe, because he's super smooth on his tyres. Hopefully, we'll be able to go with Perez and Leclerc at the front. Just going to pop the IndyCar race on the tablet, because that's going to be more up my street than the football. Not to say I dislike football, I used to work in football, so it tells you everything you need to know about how I feel about football. I do enjoy it. Do you do the no curves bug? Yes, sometimes if I need to. The tablet doesn't want to play ball at the moment. Here we go then, Lando Norris. We'll drive in the dirty air, that's fine. We restart the race. And we're chasing Leclerc and Perez. Piastri's just gone from 13th up to 14th now. Yellow flags. He's P12. Verstappen's in the wall.
So there is a lot of debris.
What's going on here? Oh, he's trying to pass Piastri and... That was hilarious. Oh, he's just stopped at the side of the road. What did I do in football? I was a football coach, a grassroots football coach. So Verstappen just decided to stop. That's fine, and Lando... probably not fast enough to... No, he's not. He's already over a second and a half back. But Piastri on those hards, this could work out a treat. Lando falls behind Alonso, but at some point he will be able to just pick up DRS, and hopefully he's not. He's just not picking up the DRS. He's just going to get picked off one at a time. What team? I was at Chelsea at one point. I was at Southampton for a bit. I worked with a local company back where I grew up, on the outskirts. I say outskirts of London, Greater London. So yeah, I did my time. I did a decade of that, and now I'm a radio journalist who also plays computer games. And a virtual safety car. Now who's crashed? That's Gasly. Verstappen is in the background as well. Oh, Gasly has just been absolutely smashed. Who was that? Hulkenberg. You got Hulk smashed. Okay. Well, now here's what we do with Lando. We bring him in for a set of mediums. So hards right now, and then we'll do the same with him. Stop for a set of hards. Later on, we're going to have so much fuel in reserve. Ridiculous. Time penalty for Hulkenberg, to the surprise of nobody. We do fall to the back, but we're also going to be a little bit quicker, so that's fine. For now, Piastri is now P11, so he's doing a good job, but he is 4 seconds behind Ricciardo. He's ahead of Russell. Box for softs and go to the end. I don't really want to risk a set of softs from here. I was sort of grassroots, so community coaching. But I did a bit of pre-academy stuff, if that makes sense. Battery's empty for Oscar. Let's get Lando deploying. He's holding off Russell here, actually. Doing a decent job. Lando up to P15, he passes Yo. We've already got 4 drivers out of this race. The vehicle mortality rate is high in Baku. Are we catching Verstappen? Battery's empty. That's fine. Here comes George Russell. Surely he'll go past this time. No, he won't. He's doing that weird thing where he just kind of hovers on the rear wheel of the car in front. And doesn't go by. It doesn't go by. Is this going on to YouTube? This is going live to YouTube right now. Unless you mean it's like a edited down video, which it could be. Russell overtakes Piastri. There we go. We're hanging on to Russell? We are not hanging on to George Russell. Albon goes by. He's on softs. Perez and Leclerc stayed out. If I don't crash, I can get points. Yes. But we also need other people to crash. Who's crashed now? Yuki Tsunoda has done his thing. As a video, well, I have thought about it. There's Tsunoda, by the way. Dead in the wall. Not actually dead, but his car is dead. The Williams staff are not great, and the free agents are particularly good. My idea with I did have an idea of like clearing out a team's staff and having like no staff to start with. So I'd have to go and pick all the free agents up because it would cost too much to go out and break all the clauses and stuff and sign free agents. City a goal up, lovely. I'd much rather see Manchester City with than Arsenal or Liverpool. God, not sure I can live through either of those winning a league title again. So Piastri is on the tail of Verstappen, who has just gone past. Let's deploy. Norris is 14. So if everyone in front can just keep crashing out, that would be lovely. Verstappen immediately pulling away from us. When should we stop for the softs? Probably. Some free agents are brilliant, yeah. You can get some really good ones actually. If you get them at the start, you can just sort of build your team, especially if you start from a lower base. Take a team that's like right at the back and develop their skills. You'll be alright. Yeah, I could probably get a decent amount of views from this as a video. It has crossed my mind to put it out as sort of edited streams. It's just having the time to do it. Because I commit to 3 videos a week, and yeah, one of these could be the video, but then also the live stream is here in full, so it's an option. But I could maybe cut it down and then do like a voiceover piece on it. What do you think? Would you prefer like a highlights thing or a highlights with a voiceover sort of explaining what's going on? We're not fast at the moment. That's for certain. Hards are probably not the tyre to be on right now. Everyone else on mediums. Let's just attack. If it ends in the wall, it ends in the wall. There's a free agent with 90 on chassis. Sign him up. Highlights with a voiceover. Okay. I'll download the streams and get those sorted. It might take a little bit of time. But the raw footage is already here. So it's kind of half the point of a live stream. Ricardo and Verstappen in for softs. So if we go maybe lap 32, that gives us sort of 19 laps to the end. We're now 10th and 11th because everyone's starting to box. They will undercut us, but hopefully we'll be able to come back through with some pace. My music is too high. How about now? Alright, let's bring Lando in for that set of softs. And then we'll bring Piastri in on the next lap. Just see how this pans out. We are still in the points paying positions. And Lando is now out well ahead of Zhou. Piastri falls behind Ricciardo, but we're going to have much better tyres. And we've engineered Lando getting ahead as well, so that's fine. Yeah, it's all about having the time to do it. I'm fortunate in that I work from home often enough that I can record videos quite quickly, and then if I'm not recording on an evening I can do a little bit of editing. Editing doesn't take too long, and I can do a bit of editing before I start work, so it's fine. It is about having that balance though. But if you're starting, just one video a week is fine. We're not as fast as I'd hoped we'd be. So I don't think we're going to get any points out of this. Although Lando is starting to close in on Magnussen. Who stayed out? Russell stayed out. Ocon's on mediums. Yeah, everyone boxed. Russell's going to come out ahead of us. Yeah, I don't think we're getting anything out of this race. So we need some drivers to start crashing up ahead. If they would be so kind, we would appreciate it at McLaren.
A little bit more like it.
We closing in on Magnussen? No, we're dropping back because we're not pushing on the engine anymore. Maybe if we deploy the battery, at least with Lando, see if we can close the gap. Yeah, life gets in the way, Elite. It really does. As you get to a certain point, you've got to prioritise. Obviously, if you're just having a baby, I think YouTube is going to take a bit of a backseat to that. So want to sign Lando, but most teams that had a 4-year deal, 20 million buyout. Yeah, it's not cheap to get Lando out of McLaren. That's why you start with McLaren. because then you don't have to pay for them. But you do get to use it. We're just going to have to hope we can pick up a P12 here. Let's drive in clean air. See if we can drop that outside of DRS to Magnussen now. Great. How many laps to go? 10 laps to go. Yeah, Leclerc and Perez have just absolutely aced their strategy. They stuck to it on the softs and they're going to reap the rewards. Are we behind Magnussen? We are. Are we passing Magnussen? We are not. Let's deploy. Get past the Danish Master of Defence. Oh, there we go. I thought he was going to bail out of it, but he's going for it, is Lando. And almost P12. Contract him for next season. Yeah, it should be cheaper because then he'll have a year less on his deal to run. Battery now empty, so we'll probably lose that position that we worked so hard to gain. But we're definitely not going to catch Albon in the time remaining, unless someone throws it at the wall. We're not scoring points. So, yeah, a bit of a... The yellows, the VSCs and the safety car aside, this has been a bit of a dull finale for the stream. Oh, Norris is going to run out of fuel, so we should probably conserve that. Don't run out of fuel, Aaron. We're good. We're good. Do I reckon Ollie Byrne will get a seat next season? If he doesn't get a seat off of the back of that performance, then I'll be very surprised. He should be in at Haas. He probably could have been in at Haas this season, to be honest. But the way they finished last year, you probably wouldn't want to put a rookie in that situation. So a Haas on the up would be a good place for them to go into. And the race has finished. Charles Leclerc has won it from Fernando Alonso. Perez having a real drop off towards the end of the race. Verstappen recovering to P6, and we are going to finish 12th and 14th. Click the wrong button there. So yeah, I mean, we clearly just didn't have the pace in that one. And it's we've scooped another point. So it's score a point in the first race of the stream, score nothing in the second. And if that continues until we get to Austria, then we'll have 4 points. So, constructors, we now fall to 16 points behind Alpine. AlphaTauri picked up a point, Daniel Ricciardo grabbing P10. But the way that the top 4 teams just dominate the main points positions, you're scraping for a P10 or a P9 at best. And until we get this car upgraded, we should be fine. We'll just be doing that for now. Congrats, you got a baby name. I don't know. Oh, it's Chesnoid who has the baby, yeah. Oh, we are topping something though. We are fastest on the pit stops. That counts for something. There we go. Lando Norris with the second fastest stop of the day. Oscar with the 7th fastest, so that'll do. And we're topping by 7 points. That pays out money for some reason. I don't understand why. I mean, a pit stop shouldn't be a competition. Obviously, you want to do it as quickly as possible, but there shouldn't be anything riding on it other than like race points. We're going to need to replace car parts. Oh dear. That's fine. But that's for the next stream. Let's save our progress here. McLaren over right. There we go. Amazing. Right. Thanks so much to everybody who was part of this stream. Had a thoroughly wonderful time. I am now going to bounce out of here and get myself watching the IndyCar. Enjoy the football or the IndyCar if you are watching it. just enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will see you tomorrow for the start of our adventure with Haas, and there's a couple more videos in the pipeline this week too. So thanks very much, everybody. I'll see you next time. You're the best fans. Bye for now.